Ever scroll through your phone and kind of lose track of time? Like, how'd I just spend an hour watching cake decorating videos?
Happens to the best of us.
Today, we're going deep on how we end up in those rabbit holes, especially on TikTok. We got our hands on some internal documents from a lawsuit against them, and let me tell you, it's kind of unnerving how good they are at keeping us glued to our screens, especially, it seems, when it comes to younger users.
Yeah, this isn't just about like some tech stuff. This lawsuit, it gets at how the design of these apps, the choices they make, it really can influence our behavior, even when, and this is the kicker, even when the companies know there might be some downsides. Makes you think, right?
It does. Okay, so bottom line, Kentucky's attorney general is taking TikTok to court, and they are not messing around. They're saying TikTok knew, like full on knew, that their algorithm could be harmful, especially to kids.
And here's where it gets really interesting. The lawsuit, it actually quotes TikTok's own internal research. Apparently, some of it accidentally became public.
Yeah.
But anyway, this research group, they call themselves TikTank, which, I don't know, kind of funny name.
Right, TikTok.
But the stuff they found, not so funny. They basically found that the algorithm, the thing that decides what you see next, all about ads and engagement and all that, it's laser focused on how long we're on the app.
So they're admitting they're good at grabbing our attention.
Oh, yeah. And they even specifically talk about how, this might not be so great for younger users.
Yeah.
Like, they actually say that young people might be more susceptible to this kind of constant keep watching loop.
Okay, that's kind of scary. They're recognizing the possibility of harm, especially with younger kids. Is this, and I hate to say it, but is this starting to feel like a cigarette companies knew about cancer kind of situation?
It's a fair question. The parallels are definitely there. And it really gets into this whole debate about responsibility.
Yeah.
Like, whose responsibility is it? The companies making these platforms or us, the users?
Right. Like, where do we draw the line?
Exactly.
This lawsuit, it really highlights that tension, between building a product that's super engaging, maybe even addictive, and thinking about what that means ethically, especially for a younger audience. It's a tough line to walk, and it seems like they may have tripped. But okay, let's get into the details. What were they actually saying in these internal documents?
So there's this one quote from a TikTok executive in these documents that's like really stuck with me. They said, quote, "The reason kids watch TikTok is because the algorithm is really good." And then it kind of trailed off.
Yeah, it's like they knew they were admitting something big. They knew how effective their algorithm is. Maybe too effective.
Right, like there's a but coming, and I'm not sure I want to hear it.
Well, the quote does go on. They start talking about how this might mean kids miss out on, and I'm quoting here, other opportunities. Other opportunities? Like what?
The basic stuff, actually.
Yeah.
Getting enough sleep, eating, actually talking to like real life human beings.
You're kidding. They actually said that.
Word for word.
Wow. It's kind of funny in a depressing way. They're acknowledging the potential downsides, but at the same time, it feels like, are they really going to do anything about it?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
Yeah,
And it's not just about TikTok. This is like the whole dilemma with so much of the tech we use every day.
totally. So, okay, they know there might be some negative stuff going on, but did they try to, fix it? Did they adjust the algorithm or something?
Well, the lawsuit mentions this experiment they ran internally. They tried using those, what are they called, screen time reminders?
Oh, yeah, those things that are supposed to make you feel bad for watching too much.
Exactly. But they didn't really work. According to their own research, these reminders, they only got teens to reduce their time on TikTok by, get this, about a minute per day.
A minute?
Yeah.
Seriously, that's like nothing.
Yep. Pretty much useless. But here's the thing. Even though their own research showed it barely made a dent, they still went ahead and, really pushed that feature publicly.
So it's like all for show.
Kind of seems that way.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder what's really more important to them.
This isn't just about some company playing around with code, This is about our brains, our time, our lives, basically. This is way bigger than TikTok.
It absolutely is. This whole thing, it's like a warning sign. And we've seen this before with other social media giants, right?
Totally. The Facebook whistleblower, all those studies about Instagram and mental health, it's a pattern.
Exactly.
It feels like every other week there's a new story about some company, some platform putting profits over people, prioritizing engagement no matter the cost. But what do we do about it? It's overwhelming, These companies, they're like unstoppable. I don't know about you, but I'm starting to feel like we're all just stuck on this this out of control train,
Yeah.
just holding on for dear life while the scenery flies by.
It can feel that way for sure.
Yeah. But we don't get to choose what we see or how fast it goes or even when to get off.
Yeah, it's easy to feel powerless in the face of all this.
Totally. So what do we do? Throw our phones away, delete all our accounts, live off a grid?
Well, I mean, hey, if that's your thing, more power to you. But for most of us, that's not really an option.
True.
And to be fair, it's not like these platforms are all bad, right? They can be fun, they can connect us to people.
Yeah, there are definitely some good things.
But I think the first step is just being aware. Like, we got to understand how these algorithms work, how they're designed to, keep us scrolling, and how they're using our data to do it.
So it's all about being more informed. Knowledge is power kind of thing.
100%. The more we understand the rules of the game, so to speak, the better choices we can make about how we play it.
Makes sense.
Right. We can be more intentional about how much time we spend online, what we look at, how it makes us feel, that sort of thing.
Okay, yeah, I like that, being more mindful. But what about the companies themselves? How do we hold them accountable? They're the ones building this stuff in the first place.
Oh, for sure. That's where, regulations and laws need to come in. Governments need to step up and set some boundaries, especially when it comes to protecting kids.
Yeah, maybe stricter rules about what kind of data they can collect, especially on younger users, or limits on how, persuasive these algorithms can be.
Exactly. And transparency is huge.
Yeah.
These companies need to be way more upfront about how these systems work, what they do with our data. No more hiding behind oh, it's a trade secret excuse.
Right. We deserve to know what's going on.
Absolutely.
Okay, so more transparency, stricter rules, and on top of all that, taking more personal responsibility. That feels like a good place to start.
It's a multi-pronged approach, for sure. But I'm hopeful. I think people are starting to get it. We're realizing that maybe, just maybe, this technology has some downsides we need to address. And that's a good first step toward, a healthier relationship with the digital world.
Well said. This has been, honestly, kind of a scary but really eye-opening deep dive. I know I'm going to be looking at TikTok a little differently from now on. It's easy to forget that there's this whole, system working behind the scenes.
It's easy to get swept up in it all.
For sure. So, to everyone listening, next time you open up TikTok, or honestly any social media, just take a second. Remember that you're not just a passenger. You have a choice.
You have power.
Yes. Don't be afraid to put your phone down, log off, and go, touch some grass or something.
Good advice.
Thanks for being here, and thanks to all of you for listening to this deep dive. Catch you next time.